Greetings everyone, this is Pastor Mike with the weekly video check-in and the first edition of Oglethorpe Presbyterian Cooks, a show where I will make a dish from our very own cookbook from 2013, Oglethorpe Presbyterian Cooks. It is a great cookbook with many recipes submitted by many of our beloved OPC folks. I then plan to give them a call afterwards so they can tell me how I did, and we can also hear some stories about that dish and about that recipe, which I think will be a lot of fun. I'm also hoping to be able to deliver some of that food that I make to someone who could use some that particular week. This week, however, we've been fighting a bug in our house, so I won't be delivering this dish, but in the future, that's what we will do. This week's dish will be African chicken curry by Georgia Gunter. Now, to save time throughout this process, I've done a lot of the prepping and chopping and all of that ahead of time, and so it is neatly laid before me here. There it all is. We have the chopped chicken. We got onions and red peppers here. We got garlic chopped here, chopped tomatoes. We got our whole peeled tomatoes in the can here. We got some coconut milk. We got some curry paste and some curry powder, and I'll get a lemon once we get a little closer to. Okay, we are at a good temperature in the pot, so I'm gonna add our chicken in so it can start cooking. Hope it all fits in the pot here. We'll find out. Okay, our chicken is at a good done this level for now. Our recipe says about 5 minutes, and it's looking pretty cooked. I imagine it'll get finished when we put it back in with everything. So I'm gonna use a slotted spoon and get all this yummy chicken out and leave some of the juices in here. It says set aside and heat oil in the same pot that the chicken was cooked in for the rest of it. So that is what we will do, Georgia Gunter. So, a little bit of juice in there. I drained some of it earlier just so it wouldn't be too overwhelming. We'll add a bit of oil. I'm notorious for not always measuring my spoonfuls, so sorry, not sorry. So, in go our onions and red pepper and garlic, and saute until onion is turning a little brown. Okay, we have browned onions and it's looking good. We're nicely cooked with our peppers and onions and garlic. So next we are going to mix canned and fresh tomatoes, curry powder, and curry paste into the skillet. So in go our canned tomatoes, in go our nicely chopped fresh tomatoes. And let's see here. How much curry paste and powder we talking? Alright, we got about a teaspoon of curry powder. I've doubled the recipe, so we're gonna go for 2 tablespoons here of curry powder. So I know I probably shouldn't do this over the skillet, but here goes. So here's 1 teaspoon. Here comes another. Yep, see, that's why you don't do it over the pot. It spills in there. Close enough. I think we're looking pretty good there. And now we are going to do our curry paste. Georgia says 1 tablespoon red curry paste, less if you like more spicy. I'm the one who likes it spicy in the house. Melody, a little lower tolerance for it, so for now, even though I doubled the recipe, we'll do 1 for now, and we'll see how that goes. There's always ways to spice it up later, so we will adjust to that if needed. Alright, got a nice little tablespoon here of curry paste. Gonna drop that on in there, and we're gonna continue cooking for 5 minutes or so. So we're moving on to our next phase of the recipe. Mix in brown sugar, optional, mandatory. So we are going to add we're gonna do it. We're gonna add the brown sugar. So, I'm gonna double that portion because we all need a little double portion of sugar in our lives these days. So we're gonna do that. And then add chicken into the mixture. So I have my cooked chicken here that I'm going to add back in. And we're gonna give this a good stir. And we got a good whole can here of unsweetened coconut milk. So I'm gonna go ahead, let's start with about half for now for a doubled recipe. We'll give this a good stir. I definitely end up adding another tablespoon of that curry paste to give it a little more kick. Could probably be used a little more if needed for those who like spicy food. I did my time in Louisiana, so I love my spice. So we may end up adding a little more. This is always the funniest thing in the cooking shows, the faces they make when they try the food. Mmm. Hi, Georgia. How are you?
Hey, Mike. I'm doing great.
Good. Got me a bowl of your curry, and it tastes good. How'd you think I did?
I think you did great. I mean, you just look so relaxed when you were cooking. I'm always so stressed, but you look very relaxed. Love the OPC apron. There was one thing where you said 2 tablespoons of curry powder, but it's actually listed as 2 teaspoons. But you did put 2 teaspoons in, but you said tablespoons. So just to clarify there.
For those out there looking to make it, yeah,
exactly.
You don't get overwhelmed by too much curry. Yeah, that's good.
But you look like a professional. I was very impressed.
Thank you for my first run. I really appreciate that. It did help that Hazel was asleep. Well, going to sleep. You could kind of hear on the monitor a little bit, but things were definitely much calmer, so that helps. But thank you. Yeah, it was fun to make, and it tastes really good. I'm enjoying a bowl right now. So I'd love to know if you have any background or story about that recipe, or what made you feel like it would be a good addition to the cookbook. That could be a
sure. It's kind of funny. You did my recipe first because other OPC ladies probably know that I am not the best cook in the world, and that it's not a hobby that I love doing. So it has to be quick, easy, and taste good for me to do it. And that's kind of what this recipe was about. And it's not a recipe handed down from generation to generation. In fact, my family we don't really have that many recipes unless you count my grandmother's tuna noodle casserole or Jell-O mold. But so anyway, I kind of just was searching for something to make that I like. I like ethnic food. I like spice. So this recipe is a couple of recipes together. I just kind of change things up when I see them, and I like to create something else out of the recipe I find. So that's kind of why that recipe came about. And the other thing is that I was serving as an OPC deacon at the time. And if you're a deacon, you got to bring food to people when needed. So I wanted to make something that they would enjoy, and that was maybe a little different than just a typical meal. And you can tone down the spice, you can add less coconut milk, whatever. So I thought that was a good recipe to make for people to bring to their home, and one that they're not going to say, oh, I think I'm just going to open a bag of potato chips because this meal that Georgia brought was so awful. So anyway, that's kind of the history of that recipe.
That's great. That's awesome. And I think all those things are spot on. It does seem like it can be versatile and flexible, lots of different things. And so, yeah, and it was easy enough to make for sure. So I feel the same way as you. I like things I can just kind of quickly get done. I joke that I'm the line cook and my wife's the 5-star chef. So whatever I can get pumped out quick is good. So this is perfect. So
well, I'm glad you picked it. I'm glad you like it.
Absolutely. It's a great first place to start. And it wasn't just because it was the first one in the main courses. It's
sure.
Just tasty. And so, yeah. So, but yeah, we'll keep it going and we'll find a good one for next time. But this was a great first start. So thank you, Georgia.
Well, thanks. Looking forward to seeing more.